Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming and the Things You Didn't Know series. Weird or unexpected, big or small, these details are about Elden Ring and how it's full of things you might not know. Obviously, it's pretty wild. We're at 18 episodes so far, so a huge thank you to everyone getting involved in the comments of this series to keep it all going. With all of that said though, let's begin the episode. We're going to start with a couple animal-related ones. Firstly, one from Willifus G in the comments, who tells us that the rotten duelists of the arenas actually have a surprising animal companion. And no, I'm not talking about that eagle that's apparently next to this one. As you can see when we zoom in on this guy, he actually has an interesting design to his armor. The arms wrap around in this metal design almost like a snake. When we get a little bit closer, you can also see that the helmet has all of these many snakes that poke out and peer out from behind the helmet. The lore implications of this are interesting. The arena duelists are generally criminals, betrayers, those that are cast out by society, and they're doomed to death by being forced to fight in the arenas over and over, and then they're given this special armor to represent that. It seems that the snakes represent some kind of criminality or traitor status, and then if you think of Rykard in his giant snake situation and that being a blasphemous thing, maybe it was Rykard's blasphemy that caused them to think, okay, snakes are bad, or maybe it was a thing beforehand. But ultimately, what's important is that there's a snake theme with these guys. But there's an unexpected detail, one that I didn't know, about the duelists to do with snakes. And that's this grab attack, where they actually have a snake come out and bite you, and that triggers the Scarlet Rot. That's incredible. I have never seen that attack in game, and when I read that comment, I was like, is that real? Yes, it is. That's so cool. In general, the duelists are really cool characters, and something I would love to see a bit more of in, you know, the general gameplay, maybe a DLC, maybe the PvP update where we finally have the arenas. Maybe they'll be involved. It's very interesting, though, that this duelist, or general duelist, decided to commit to this theme of snakes so hard and get themselves an actual pet snake that they use in combat. Again, that's something I've never seen before, so Willifus, thank you very much for letting me know about that. Secondly, for our animal-related details, I'm here in the debate parlor where you fight the Radigan Wolf. That red wolf has some interesting detail to it, though, that you might not notice until it actually stands still, as noticed by Reddit user CthulhuBot666. Yes, apparently the Wolf of Radigan wears jewelry. If you stop to take a look, which is obviously not an easy ask, it turns out they're covered in these different trinkets. The baubles show that perhaps it's a beloved wolf after all, a pet, a companion, rather than just a guard dog. You can see that it's got various different types of earrings on one ear there, probably on the other we just can't see, and then in its beard on its mane under the head. You can actually see that there's more rings there. It's a really tiny, subtle, physical detail to show that, yeah, this is more than just a wolf. That it was indeed a beloved pet rather than just an ally. I love that tiny bit of physical representation of this companionship, something that I would never catch if I didn't stop to look at the details like this, which frankly in the middle of a fight with how fast this boss moves, that's really never going to happen. Still a really, really cool detail and certainly something I didn't know. Next up, we have some interesting interactions between ashes and different abilities. First up, we have the Stormwall Parry, which Josh is letting me know has an interesting detail about it. Now, normally the purpose of this parry is to stop projectile. Let's try that again. Is to stop projectiles like so. What it does is it sort of knocks aside the projectile, sending it down or away, and is a neat way to prevent projectiles like arrows or bolts such as this from actually hitting you, assuming you can time it and not speak at the same time, unlike me. You can see in the image of this ash of wall the idea behind that. Creating a wall of storm winds in front of you to, quote, deflect arrows and other such physical projectiles. And yeah, you can also use it as a regular parry. But apparently, another thing you can do, according to Josh, is not just parry and send away projectiles like those arrows, but say an enemy throwing something you can reflect, such as a thrown bomb, a firebomb. I'm kind of scared to try this because it's literally a firebomb. Oh my god, whoa, okay, wow. That's amazing, but it doesn't seem to be doing damage. So where the arrows just kind of get shot into the ground, these projectiles, such as physical firebombs, well, they're sent in massive directions. If only I could control the direction that it actually went, like with, say, the analog stick or something. But yeah, what's interesting about that is obviously I'm nullifying the explosion, which is cool, but I thought you'd be able to throw it back at them and deal damage. Strangely, it seems to go back towards the target though. When the one on the right throws it, it seems to go to the right. Yeah, towards that target, and vice versa. If I could get a little bit closer, that'd be great, but as soon as I do, he stops throwing. Starts trying to melee me. Still a really cool detail. Do you think you could actually deal damage with it though? Because it doesn't seem like you can to me. No, look, that landed right by his feet and did 0 damage. And again, strange, but still kind of cool. Not something I knew you could do. All right, for this next one, much like real life, it's raining all the time, constantly. But it's actually not about that. It's about the Incantation Poison Mist, which of course puts a cloud out in front of you that deals poison damage to those standing within it, those enemies within it, and then it'll deal damage to them via poison. But the interesting aspect of this comes from the comments once again by user Shadow of Envy. Shadow lets us know that there's actually a very interesting, potentially unintended aspect of this mist, which is that if you are stealthed like so, and then use it from stealth and apply the mist, well then no aggro, no attention is put on you, and of course it's still going to deal damage. Now, it is poison damage. It's not like Scarlet Raw or say like the deadly poison. It's just regular, so it's not exactly doing a massive amount of damage, is it? But the poison lasts a lot longer than the cloud itself. The cloud, you just need it to apply the poison, and then the poison will last a good little while. And in the case of this target, it's going to 100% 2-0 kill him without him ever gaining aggro. It's like the ultimate assassin. Obviously, a great aspect about that, then, is that it works in open world generally. Yeah, you might not be able to find every target in a situation where you can sneak up on them, but you will find a lot of them. And the thing is, obviously, there's a lot of open world bosses that you can just go ahead and poison cloud and stand there, never having to actually directly fight them like this giant here who's just chilling, and I'm gonna do incredibly slow poison damage to. But it lasts ages. So if you have the time and the inclination, maybe you're doing, say, like a soul level 1 playthrough, technically it's possible for open world content to not directly fight anything and kill it with poison. It did 728 damage. That was 8 damage a tick for quite a while there. So 728, I'd say, what would you say, like 35%, maybe 40% of the health bar there? If I did that 3 times, I reckon this guy dies. Maybe 4 times, absolute worst case scenario. So yeah, open world bosses, open world enemies with lots of health you don't want to directly fight, you could just stealth poison mist them. Obviously it's not ideal, it's not a massive amount of damage, clearly, but it is free damage, and that's pretty cool that you can do that. All right, next up we have a funny one, at least to me. You see, Goldmask here, this suspicious and strange character with his own questline and storyline, is a completely silent NPC. As you can see when I try to talk to him, he just gives me nothing. Also, he's kind of weird looking. That neck is too long and too thin. Now, other than insulting this character and his physical appearance, which is kind of mean, did you know that this character has an official voice actor? Literally listed in the credits of the game, this is voiced by Ryan Morris. Morris is actually the voice director for the English lines in many From Software games, and Revian on Twitter put it this way: he's voiced some of the most eloquent characters. Unironically, he is credited with these characters that have 0 voice lines in the games. What they do generally have, though, are grunts or some sort of sound, not an actual dialogue line. Further, Goldmask actually did have lines, but they were cut from the final release. They figured, I guess, keep him silent forever. Sekiro Doobie, a great YouTuber I've referenced a couple times in my time covering Elden Ring, has found these voice lines that were unused in the files of the game. Posting this video back in August, Doobie found this reaction line to when you reveal the secret of Radigan and Marika to him, that they are in fact the same person, that reveal. So listen to this.
Why not?
Not exactly a massive amount to work with, obviously. What it sounds like to me is that Goldmask hasn't spoken in a long time, so he's obviously very croaky, but the words that he said seems to be, yes, why not, after that initial sort of excited sound.
Why not?
I think it's clear that he believes the concept of Marika and Radigan being one when you tell him. It lines up with his theories and he's quite excited by it. So much so that he actually speaks. I really recommend you check out the full video by Doobie to learn how he's found this, and in general, he has a great channel with great videos. Finally, for today's episode, a little bug that's been happening recently, rarely during invasions. This almost Battle Royale style sky drop-in seems to happen in huge skybox areas. Rather than, say, spawning from the ground as normal, when you're invading, you'll spawn in from the sky and fly down like some kind of mystical being. This clip comes from the hard to say username GXLDTXXTH. Maybe that's pronounced gold teeth? They managed to capture this weird moment during an invasion a couple weeks back, and I think it's pretty cool, honestly. I would not mind if that was the normal way to invade in, say, a massive open area, since you'd be able to look around while you're flying down and see if you could spot a host who might be hiding or, in general, help you find them. GXLD actually streams their PvP content often on Twitch, which is how they were able to capture this moment, so I really would recommend you go check them out. Would you like to see this falling in from the sky be a normal way to invade? If nothing else, a variety of invade animations, that'd be cool. But there you have it. That is today's episode of things you didn't know in Elden Ring. As always, another huge thank you for you guys in the comments with your tips and your suggestions. You know, I'm able to find interesting details still to this day, but your suggestions make a major impact on the series. I don't think it would have lasted or got this many episodes without that. So if you have a suggestion or a tip or anything, let me know in the comments. For now though, I've been Hollow, you've been you, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.